welcome to everyone. It's great to be here and to have an hour, approximately an hour, for us to have what I like to call, and my colleagues like to call, an intrapersonal experience. It's not so much interpersonal, which we're very much used to, but a chance for us to have a conversation with ourselves, which is less common. And looking forward to leading us into that. I just want us to take a minute to light a candle if you happen to have one. If not, you can light one in your heart. I can light one for all of us. And we'll open this space, this sacred space. I invite you to just take some deep breaths into your belly. Leave behind all the busyness of the day. To let go of any plans after our time together. And to just breathe and invite some silence into this imagined circle. Thank you. Thank you so much. A circle of trust, using the Courage and Renewal approach, rests on what we call the touchstones. And David is going to share the screen with the touchstones. There are more of these, which if you're interested, you can go to the Courage and Renewal website. It's couragerenewal.org. But for tonight and our short time together, I've selected these 6 to be present as fully as possible. What is offered is by invitation, not demand. This is not a share or die event. Do what you need for yourself. To listen generously, surrendering any need to fix, advise, save, or correct. Just let that go. Easier said than done. Speak from your heart, attending to your inner teacher, your inner wisdom, your soul. Trust and learn from silence. And observe deep confidentiality. Whatever you have the honor of hearing tonight from other people stays right here, unless they give you express permission. So thank you, David. You can take those down. we're going to have some time for reflection. And we're going to work with a poem by the writer and activist and doula, Adrienne Marie Brown. She has written a couple of books. Pleasure Activism is the latest one, and Emergent Strategies. And I love this poem because for me, it articulates where we are right now in the time that we're in. So I'm going to read this poem. David's going to share it. And as I read it, listen for any words or phrases that especially speak to you. The small place. The small place between yesterday and tomorrow, where people who can see futures whisper to each other the words to the songs they must sing to lead the way. The words to the songs they must sing to lead the way. The narrow corridor creaks with every step. People think they can run the path like bulls, but the only way forward is at the pace of our collective heartbeat, all together, imperfect, together. The past is turning to dust behind us. We must remember the future is waiting beyond our anxiety. We must dream. The present is so small. We must fill it with our transformation. Rev Kathy, can I ask you to read this?
Yes.
Wonderful. And again, you know, and I suggest if there is a word or a line that really speaks to you, to just jot that down. Thank you. Thanks, Rev Kathy. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. The small place between yesterday and tomorrow, where people who can see futures whisper to each other the words to the songs they must sing to lead the way. The narrow corridor creaks with every step. People think they can run the path like bulls, but the only way forward is at the pace of our collective heartbeat, all together, imperfect together. The past is turning to dust behind us. We must remember the future is waiting beyond our anxiety. We must dream. The present is so small. We must fill it with our transformation. Ashe. Thank you.
Thank you, Rev Kathy. Thanks so much for reading it. And take just one more look to see if there's something that you just want to jot down, something that sparkles for you, something that struck you, something that reached out a hand to you. Then David, you can take that down. Thank you. So we call this poem Third Thing because it's not me and it's not you. It's something that we place in the center that we each can relate to in our own way. So was there a word that reached out to you? And if so, I'm not going to call on you, but just unmute. And if somebody talks at the same time, then just give way. One of you give way and the other one can jump in afterwards.
Move forward at our collective heartbeats.
We must dream.
People who can see futures whisper to each other.
The words to the songs they must sing.
The present is so small.
People think they can run the path like bulls.
The past is turning to dust.
The future is waiting beyond our anxiety.
Now, can we hear just single words, just one word?
All together.
Collective.
Whisper.
Small.
Present.
Imperfect.
Transformation.
Tomorrow.
Remember.
Bulls.
Beyond.
Heartbeat.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we're going to move into 10 minutes of reflection time. And there are some, you can journal on any of the phrases that really struck you. You can draw about them. You can move if that's a way that you get in touch with your inner teacher, your own soul, your spirit. And I also have some prompts, which I put in the chat for the YouTube people who are out there. David is going to put those up on the screen for you. What are some of the words to the songs we must sing to lead the way? What is turning to dust in your life? What moves you beyond our anxiety? What are your dreams? What is transforming in you in the present? At what pace? So take 10 minutes in solitude, in silence, and you may get to one of these invitations or none of them, or just spend some time with something that drew you in about this poem. Are there any questions? Then I will see you, David, what's 10 minutes from now? At 30 minutes after the hour. So let's come back here then. David, you could take these down. Thank you. Have another few seconds, but you might want to just finish up your thought for now. Welcome back, everybody. Those of us who are on Zoom are going to move into small groups. For those of you who are on YouTube, you can continue to reflect, or if you're with someone else, then you can do what we're going to do in the breakout rooms. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to be in groups of 3 or 2. We're going to see how the numbers work out. And if you're in a group of 3, you'll have 5 minutes each to share. There'll be a total of 18 minutes. So there's not much time for chatting. So somebody should keep time. And so everybody will get their full 5 minutes. And you should take those full 5 minutes to share anything that's your heart wants to hear spoken aloud. That may be something that you wrote that you'd really like to hear. Let others hear and hear yourself again. It may be something that is still bubbling up for you and is very much alive. And if that's true, then that's what you should share. The sharing is really for you. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to perform. You don't have to present anything. It's what is bubbling up from your heart. As listeners, we will listen without interruption. I think a lot of you are probably used to that as a practice. But that's what we'll do. And if the person sharing happens to not use their full time, their full 5 minutes, or in a dyad, in a group of 2, it would be a full 7 minutes. If they don't use that whole time, then they can say, I would like some silence to complete their time, or that I'd like a question if one arises. And a question means a question for that person. It's not advice. Remember, we've let go of that for this hour. It's not trying to fix the person or help them in that way. It's a way to just ask a question that you couldn't possibly know the answer to, that might help them go more deeply. And it could be as simple as, can you say more about such and such that they mentioned? And after each person speaks, to just thank them, and then the next person will jump in. So are there any questions about that? 5 minutes each in a triad, 7 minutes each in a dyad. If by any remarkable miracle there is a minute left or 2 minutes, you can come back to this space, or you can see if there's something bubbling up among you that wants to be said. Just resist any fixing. at that point. Okay, David, I think we're ready to move. Welcome back, everyone. Almost everyone. Are we all back, David? No? Okay. Some resistors. Here we are. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. I want to invite us into just a minute of silence to check in with yourself, to see what might be bubbling up for you out of this reflection experience. There may be some insights. There may be some questions. There may be some surprises. Well, thank you. I want to invite anyone who would like to first, just if there's any comments about or thoughts about your experience in the small group. David, you've started to, we're recording now, right? But we weren't in the small groups, and we just want to see what your experience was like. Keep it brief. We don't have very much time left, so each one of you keep it brief. If your thought has already been said, it's living in the circle.
It was nice being in a space with two people where after speaking, the sparse questions that were asked were like raindrops falling on twigs.
Thank you, Thomas.
I found it a wonderful platform for meeting somebody that we haven't met before. And the sharing the thoughts that arose from the questions you posed was just an absolutely beautiful way to meet someone in a very open way. And we feel really fortunate that we met somebody wonderful, but I have a feeling that everybody here would fit that bill.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I found it really interesting because I had read a little bit about these groups, and so I'm here because I was curious to see, to feel, to experience how it works, and the interplay between the poem, which we all were experiencing in the moment, and our written reflections, and then the opportunity to share that with anything else we wanted to say, was a really full experience, to listen to other people's thoughts and feelings and reflections was very peaceful
Mm,
and
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you, Rosemary. We have time for one more, and I'm going to just open this up to anything that anyone would like to say about their experience tonight. Any other questions? Questions or thoughts?
I'll share briefly. This is Reverend Julie. What I am left with after the sharing is such a reassurance that the dreams I have that are so big that involve restorative justice are actually built on a platform of just such unfolding affinity with you all and all of the people I know in my world, from both one spirit and just the other people committed to kindness. And it's the circle of trust is such a great way to remember and strengthen my sense of possibility.
Well, thank you, Retro.
May I jump in? It's Susie. I was so grateful for the question which was posed to me, which was so the essence of the circle of trust, which is what changed. In other words, what had brought about the transformation that I was sort of hinting at in my testimony. And I'm going to hold that one. What changed? It's so open, but it's so to the point. So I'm deeply grateful.
Beautiful. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you.
One more, because I just can't resist.
This was a wonderful reminder for me that I always experience circles of trust. The phrase that always comes to mind is as a soul massage. There's something in the spaciousness, there's something in the slowing down that is always so deeply, deeply nourishing. And it's unlike what I experience in any other kind of format or structure. There's something about the circle of trust that just sort of opens for me room to slow down, take a deep breath, and open to just a profound level of nourishment.
Thank you, Diane, who introduced me to this community, who invited me here tonight. And I'm so grateful for both of those and for knowing Diane. Yeah, this way of being together has infiltrated my life. It never ceases to, well, I think I'm just forever grateful for each circle of trust that I'm part of. And I don't want to keep you tonight longer. I'm grateful for all of you being here. I'd like to close with a song that is called Holding Space by Mayada. If you haven't heard of her or her work, it's you'll hear a little bit about holding space. And so let's listen to that, and then we'll end and say goodbye to each other.
Space is for the silence. And the things I need to say. Places for the victory. And the pockets of pain. For the revelations. And what questions remain. I'm learning to breathe and hold the space. Oh, space is for the silence and the things I need to say. Places for the victory and the pockets of pain. For the revelations and what questions remain. I'm learning to breathe and hold the space. Yeah, I'm learning to breathe and hold the space.
Thank you, David. Thank you for your help tonight, for your support. Thanks to all of you for being here. And remember that this is actually another touchstone, that it's possible to leave the circle with whatever it was that you needed when you arrived, and that the seeds planted here can keep growing in the days ahead. If you have more interest in circles of trust, you can go to couragerenewal.org. There is a page there that has, there's a calendar page with wonderful things that are happening in person, hybrid, and on Zoom. So let's blow out our candles and send our blessings and love out to all who need it. And unmute and say goodbye to each other.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you, everybody.